Hey, everybody. Welcome to Talk This Way. I'm your host, Matt Bishop. I'm very excited today. We have two very special guests joining us on the show. We have Mr. Doug Aldrich and Mr. Glenn Hughes from the Daises. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time.
Pleasure.
Of course,
pleasure.
So, a lot going on for you guys right now. We have new album coming up, tour dates, new single just dropped. What are we doing right at this moment? What's the energy like? We're gearing up for the tour.
Yeah, we're gearing up for the tour. We're on a break right now. We had a couple months in Europe, and we're on a break right now, getting ready to start up on September 7th in Vineland, New Jersey, at the Landis.
Look,
The Landis, great venue.
It is a great venue. Yeah, we played last year. It was amazing. A great venue, great rock and roll fans out there.
A very good buddy of mine, Mr. Bob Watts. Shout out to Bob. He is the house photographer there, and he loves it there. And I can't wait to get down there on the 7th and take some photos with him of you guys. It's going to be a good time for sure.
That's like my hometown gig right there, Matt. That's my family, and Brian Tishy's as well. His family's in Jersey. Mine's in Philly area.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm from the Philly area myself. I grew up a little bit north up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and now I'm hanging out down in Philly, Bucks County area. So yeah, I'm shooting all the Philly shows, and excited to get. It'll actually be my first time at the Landis.
Oh wow!
Bob's been great. He's always like, dude, you got to come down. The lighting's killer. We just redid it. It's gonna be great. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun time.
Looking forward to it.
So we have the album coming out on the 30th. We got a nice little preview, 3 solid singles. How do you guys feel about this record as we're kind of rolling out, the red carpet for it and getting ready for the big drop on the 30th?
It's an album. I wouldn't call it Holy Ground Part 2. I just think it's an album of classic rock songs that were written in a different vibe, the pandemic and stuff like that. There's a definite vibe on the album of like breaking through into the light. There's some very heavy guitar riffs on this record, but the overall consensus is, again, walking through the fear, letting go, and living in the moment. That's what it's all about. And heavy, heavy grooves.
Yeah, I'm listening to, I listen to, past stuff, and I'm listening to these first 3 songs. It's really heavy. Even like you could listen to the new one, Hypnotize Yourself. Like, Doug, your tone is a little bit lighter, but the riff is still just that,
I was trying to go for a little bit more of a classic sound, a different sound on that song. I used a 56 Les Paul Jr. that I have. That's awesome guitar. We're going. I think it's a more 70s sound that we were kind of going for these last few records, and so I didn't want to just do the whole album with my main Les Paul sound. I wanted to use some different tones.
Right.
Could this possibly be the heaviest Dead Daisies record that we're going to experience?
Maybe. I mean, there's actually there's a couple songs that we didn't include on the album that could be heavier. So you never know. In the future, there might be something, but it's definitely heavy. It's classic heavy, 70s riff rock.
I mean, the stuff I brought in, like Radiance, was definitely probably the heaviest track. I had a feeling that with songs like My Fate on Holy Ground, the fans were loving the heaviness of the songs like that. So we thought it might be interesting to continue that sort of vibe on this album.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you guys, if that was the goal, the goal accomplished. It is really heavy, but it's not trying too hard either. I heard somebody once said, heavy isn't volume, heavy's an attitude.
That's
and
correct.
I've always loved that saying. I didn't come up with it. I will maybe think of it, but some people just say, you know what, we are just going to get a bigger pedal board. We're going to get more cabs, and we're just going to make it. And sometimes, okay, to be fair. but it's not always the case. And it's all about the riff and just capturing that moment. And I think that you guys did really well of making a very, so far, it sounds very heavy, but also very catchy, a lot of great bluesy grooves, and it's not trying too hard.
Thank you. That's much appreciated.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. You know, that's what, and the other guys in the band as well. David and Brian had a lot to do with it as well. We all, you know, we put the songs, like Glenn would bring in a couple songs. I brought in a bunch of songs, and then we put them together in the studio with the guys sitting around, so everybody could put their stamp on it, you know, and we could help each other with songs that the other guy brought in. So it's just like a band effort, really.
Coming out of the pandemic, obviously that was rough for everybody. Things were really weird. And you guys, came out with the last record. You guys worked with Ben Goss. Am I saying that right? Your producer? Gross. Okay. Ben Gross. You guys worked with him, and now you work with him again. Was not to say that the last record was like a trial run by any means, but did it feel different this time around? Did it feel like there was more of a rhythm and a set pace for making this record?
It was actually kind of the opposite, because we worked in LA and we had to travel to the studio, whereas in Holy Ground we were there. We were living at the studio in France, this amazing place. So this was a little bit more disjointed, but we had to we had to basically wrap up the recording before we went on tour, and somehow we did it,
Yeah, and like I said, there's a bunch of this material was written in 2020. And we had some add-on songs earlier this year, so it's a disjointed in a way because a lot of stuff was written in 2020.
What happened was we were going to write a concept record, and it wasn't really happening. So we basically cherry picked a couple tracks from what we had, and then we added to them with what we wanted to, the real direction we wanted to hit. So that's kind of where we went with it.
I got you. Now, each of you, favorite song on the record. Go. What do you think?
Roll On, last track. Absolutely.
I think I would say I would probably say Radiance is one of my favorites. It was that was a song that almost didn't make it, and then we fixed it up, and it became one of the strongest tracks on the album. And I think Kiss the Sun is a heavy, groovy riff. It's a groove thing that we like to do a lot. So I like that one.
So speaking of, you said that you got Radiance was kind of, we're not sure. We revisited it.
I don't think for 1 second that song would never have made the album. That song was certain to make the album. There was no question about it.
Well, so, it was just, I didn't mean it like that. I just meant,
I got you.
The producer said, "Hey, let's try and fix the song up a little bit so that we can, it turned out to be a stronger song than what it started as." So that's what I meant. It's good,
I got
what you want to do. You want to, when one guy tries to do everything by himself, it can. I've seen situations like that where it's like, it's not as well rounded as it could be when you have a collaboration. So when you got four guys putting their best foot forward, making everything be the best it can be, you never know what's going to be the strongest song. Mm-hmm. What's your favorites?
I think Radiance so far probably is it for me.
Have you heard the whole album?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, out of the three, I mean, they're all really strong. It's tough to pick, honestly. But Radiance I've always been a sucker for that slow, grinded out tempo.
Good. Thank you.
And yeah, so that one's just really cool for me. But you got Hypnotize Yourself. That's a little bit bluesier. Yeah, it's neat. And I'm digging the vibe and the feel of it so far. And I'm really excited to, experience the rest of it, when it comes out. And speaking of experiencing the rest of it, with the tour coming up, I know there's only 3 singles out now, but we're kicking off these dates before the record comes out. What can fans expect to hear at the shows? Are we going to dive pretty deep into this new one?
Yeah, there's another song we're going to release in September called Face Your Fear, which will be the 4th single. So we'll do 4 songs from Radiance, we'll do 4 songs from Holy Ground, and the rest will be older material.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then the second date of this tour is Blue Ridge Rock Festival.
Yes.
Holy, that's going to be a blast. That bill is enormous.
Can't wait for that.
Are you guys looking forward to catching up with anybody in particular there? I know it's kind of like summer camp, you know, back behind the trailers. Everybody's hanging out.
I don't know who's
it's gonna
playing.
it's gonna be fun.
I have no idea who's playing on that show, on festival.
I don't know a lot of people off the top of my head. I know like Alice Cooper's going to be there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of those, the list is a mile long.
Good.
But yeah, hey, I'm so excited for this record, and I think, you know, fans should be too. There's always, you know, the whole notion of, you know, how's rock and roll doing? Is rock and roll on its way out? Is it losing steam? And then something like this comes along and it's like, no, we're fine. We're good here. Everything's good. And it's really beautiful that you guys can, you know, keep contributing to that, you know, along with so many other, you know, great bands, you know, that are out there. So, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.
Dead Daises,
Appreciate it, Matt.
ladies and gentlemen, the new record, Radiance, is out September 30th. Keep an eye on your record store shelves. Click on the link down below. You guys can pre-order.
While it's hot.
And yes, and tickets are on sale. The tour, very brief tour, kicks off on September 7th at the Landis Theater in Vineland, New Jersey. Tickets for the entire run right below. Click the link.
There you go.
And we'll see you out there on the road, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you,
so
Matt.
much.
Thanks, Matt. All the best.
All right.
buddy.
Peace and love. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.